What's up, guys? I'm Chris,
I'm Sean.
and this is the Whiskey Noobs. All right, so Sean and I figured out that we're kind of boring without any whiskey in us.
Yes.
So we're gonna fix that right now. Maybe we should just have a few pours before we start recording.
I think that
Maybe that should be
Yeah.
the requirement: is you have a few pours of whiskey before you start recording.
Yeah.
So we recorded like a whole video opening of us talking about infinity bottles. And maybe I'll use some of that footage, but most likely we're just going to roll from right now. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk about whiskey. So tonight we wanted to do an episode about infinity bottles. And Sean actually kind of spurred this particular episode when he picked up the Barrell.
Barrel.
the Barrell
With 2 L's.
The Barrell whiskey. This is the Infinity Barrel Project.
Yeah.
And so you were telling me about some of the stuff that's in this.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. It's like a world barrel. It really fascinated me when I had never seen this before. First of all, when I went in the ABC store and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the heck is an Infinity Barrel Project? Oh my gosh. So I actually Googled it when I was right in there, and I looked at the list of stuff.
Yeah, and I know when he finds cool stuff because he calls me.
I do.
Like,
I pick up the phone. I'm like, oh my god, hey! Like, I hit the jackpot.
Yeah, have you heard of this? What do you think? Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, that sounds incredible.
Yeah,
You should
gotta
grab
get
that.
that.
And then it's sitting, like, literally when we're on the phone, I'm like, oh, that would make a great episode. We could share our infinity bottles.
Yep.
And so that's what's kind of led to this.
Yes.
And we knew that was going to be our next episode. And I'm kind of excited because this, when I started out my infinity bottle, and we both started out early with our infinity bottles. Like, right from our get-go in whiskey, we pretty much decided, hey, we should start one of these.
This is a
infinity
cool
bottles.
idea.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Yeah.
And the neat thing is that our different infinity bottles really prove that there is no right way or wrong way to do an infinity bottle. I see a lot of things online of how to do an infinity bottle or the proper way to do an infinity bottle. And I think all that's silly because we went completely two different directions in a lot of areas, from a perspective of the bottle that we used, what we're putting in our bottles.
I definitely went the right way with mine. So.
This is where it's up for debate, I guess. So for me, my bottle choice came down to this Four Roses was the first bottle of whiskey that I ever owned. I've had whiskey.
Now, it is the first bottle of whiskey that you ever loved.
Well, it is the first whiskey I've ever owned.
I know, but I'm just saying, knowing you as long as I have, it is the first bottle of whiskey I ever heard you say, man, I love this whiskey.
Well, I will say this.
Ever.
This is the whiskey that I was introduced to by another friend who introduced me and said, oh, have you ever had Four Roses? And he actually introduced me to the single barrel, which I still love, still great whiskey. The Four Roses single barrel is awesome stuff. Mm-hmm. And every time we go over to their house for dinner, I would have a pour of that. And the first time I ever had one kind of triggered me buying this friend a bottle every time we went over. Yeah. And so every time we go over to his house, I'd bring a bottle of whiskey, and it was usually Four Roses. And so anyway, my wife back in April of last year, for my birthday, brought home this bottle of whiskey. And it was probably a bad move on her part because it triggered this whole whiskey thing for me. Sean was kind of already in it. But I definitely think that me getting into whiskey made you dive even deeper into whiskey. So I think we're like bad influences on each other, or good influences, depending on how you look at it.
Good whiskey.
My wife's behind the camera nodding.
Yeah, she's like,
But yeah, so this one bottle kicked off all the bottles and all the bottles that are finished. And so I thought it was only fitting that this become my infinity bottle. Yeah. So this is my infinity bottle. It's got an infinity symbol on the top here so that when I have another bottle of Four Roses small batch, I can tell the difference. But you went a different direction.
I did. I don't have a cool story with mine. So no, honestly, I just, I've always liked decanters, I'll be honest with you. Never had a reason to buy one or put anything in them. And so I actually just found these. I found this particular one in an antique shop, and I thought, man, this is really cool. So this is what I did for my bourbon. And then this one, has the little kind of drop, in there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
it's hand blown, and this is what I ordered for my rye. I will tell you, what was funny is when we started into whiskeys, Chris was really into bourbon. I always have been really into ryes. Yeah. I like
and you've brought me around.
Yeah, and you've started trying more, and I've actually started trying more bourbons. So we've kind of merged and meshed. And this was the first one that I had. I just got this one maybe a month and a half ago, around in there. But my infinity bottle was strictly ryes. Yeah. And that's all I poured in there.
Yeah, and I kind of started out in the beginning. One of the things I saw was that you should only put bourbon in your bottle, or you should only put rye, or you should only put Scotch, or you should only put Irish. And I kind of feel like I went the right direction by doing anything I like goes into this bottle. So if I have something that I just genuinely don't like, and there's only one bottle I've ever had that has not gone into this, and that was Monkey Shoulder. I just could not handle the funk.
I think we have a video of you trying that for the first time. I would love to put that clip in like right now.
It smells like ass.
What's wrong?
It's so gross.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
We'll see.
was
We'll see how that goes down. If you've seen the clip,
best
we decided
video.
to put it in. If not, it didn't happen. So anyway, I went ahead with the decision to put rye in here. There's some Irish in here. There's some bourbon in here, and there's eventually going to be some Scotch in here.
Yeah, that's your whole whiskey journaling.
It is. This is everything. And again, like everything that I'm drinking that I'm liking is going into this. When I have a repeat bottle, it's going into this. I think I'm a little more rule driven on mine because I do 2 ounce pours toward the middle of the bottle. I think yours is maybe a little more.
Yeah, I don't have a science. Mine's very much an art. And I don't do a neck pour. I never do a neck pour in here.
Me neither.
And I do. It's usually right about here, but sometimes I let it sit about a week, and maybe I've drank a little more. But I don't do the very bottom either. So I kind of do the meat of it. A lot of my stuff is kind of down below half.
Yeah, the best whiskey's about here in your bottle. I don't know if there's any science behind that, but that's just the way. When I taste it, this is where I get the best whiskey from.
Yeah, I mean, I all of a sudden, when it starts getting low and I really like a bottle of whiskey, start trying to tell myself it doesn't taste good. So I don't finish it off. I mean, I think that's kind of...
Now, you have 2 bottles though, also because you don't mix your bourbon and rye.
And I don't, yeah. So this is rye, and this has a lot of high rye content. So I would say probably about 70% of the ryes that are in here, a lot of locals are like 90% rye or higher, 95%. So,
whereas most of the ryes I've had have been on the lower rye content. So I don't really feel like I'm messing with the flavor profile that much by adding a rye into a bottle that mostly has bourbon in it. Yeah. But here lately, there's been way more ryes going into this, and Irish is going into this than there have been bourbons.
Yeah, you branched out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And now Scotches are showing up on the shelf, so we're definitely branching out. But we're going to talk some more about Infinity bottles, our specific bottles. We're going to get around to tasting our bottles. But what I really want to do right now, because we've already determined that we're better when we have whiskey in us,
we definitely need
I really want to try this Barrell whiskey Infinity Barrel. And it's 119 proof.
It is. It's the August 12th, 2019.
Bottle number 373.
Yep.
So this is, it's pretty, I tell you that when we pop the cork on this, the nose... I mean, just the cork smells amazing. And we had the barrel bourbon the other night.
Yes, the 111 proof.
And that stuff was incredible.
Cask strength, I think.
So I'm pretty excited this has got a higher proof on it. And again, this has got some international ryes in it, some scotches, some bourbons.
Some Irish whiskey. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything in it from all over the world. So it's pretty cool.
All right, enough talking. Let's try it. So again, the nose is just, I mean, it's caramel and...
A lot of vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla.
It's a little lighter than I would have expected with some of the notes.
Yeah, it might have some like pear in there.
Yeah, I got some light fruits, not the dark. All
right, I'm going in. I can't wait any longer. Well, on the tongue, a lot of spice.
A lot of spice on but it's a fruity sweet on the tongue.
It is, yeah. Well, to me, it's spice on the tip of the tongue.
Oh.
You start getting the sweet toward the middle. The finish is actually really kind of surprising.
I've got some.
It's still sticking there.
It is. I'm getting some plums and raisins out of that.
I'll give you raisins.
Yeah. A little tobacco in there. Yeah, that's really complex.
That's some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna chew this next.
Still tasting it.
I'm gonna chew this next swig a little bit.
Around.
Ooh. Baked apples.
Yeah.
And spice and vanilla. That's delicious stuff.
It is.
The spice is definitely there. I mean, it drinks like a rye.
It does. I can tell it's got rye in it for sure.
You know, the closest thing I can think of that this reminds me of? Angel's Envy rum cask rye. That rum.
I don't think it's quite as
rum
sweet
cask.
as that, but the flavor notes and everything on it, I can definitely taste.
Yeah, they're definitely not exactly the same.
Yeah.
But this is the closest that I can think of.
Yeah.
Just from the rye perspective and the sweet perspective, the nose on that is just, it's incredible.
Yeah, some of the dried fruit that I'm getting on the back end of it is pretty prominent. It's good.
I'm gonna have another pour of that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think what we're learning though is that this is our second barrel, and when we tried it this past Thursday, we tried the Barrell bourbon.
Yeah.
And we actually tried that up against some other higher proof whiskeys.
It was a very interesting night.
And we thought that the Barrell bourbon was delicious.
Yeah.
But it didn't hold up proof wise to the other two we were having.
No.
So we had Knob Creek, the 9-year single barrel reserves, 120 proof.
Jack Daniels.
Single barrel proof, which is like 134 proof.
Yes.
And we love the barrel, but it just didn't hold up when you were drinking against those other two proofs. This is a little bit higher proof than the Barrell bourbon.
I can taste it, for sure.
But what I'll say is, generally speaking, we don't enjoy neck pours.
Not usually, no.
When we do enjoy neck pours, it turns out to be one of the top tier whiskeys that we have, right? So like if we know if we like a neck pour, chances are we're really gonna like.
In a week, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be incredible. And so what's interesting to me is that the Barrell bourbon, even on the neck pour, we loved it.
Yeah.
And the neck pour on this one, we're enjoying as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not even a little bit disappointed with it. It's
All right, what's the price on this one?
$60.
$60.
Yeah, I don't remember.
All right,
but I know it's not.
All right.
I know it's not more.
Hey, we're gonna have our resident fact checker behind the camera there. My lovely wife. She's gonna check for us. It's a Barrell Whiskey Infinity Barrel Project.
It was either $59 or $69.
And just look up the shopping and kind of see what the average price is going for. Because $60 seems like an absolute steal.
It was, and I didn't feel bad about buying it. I got it. And I was like,
go back and buy more.
Yeah, I think it's either $59 or $69, but
I mean the nose on that.
I think it was the same as the one that I bought the other night, to be honest. But yeah, it's a little peppery too. God, it's so complex. It's so many different things every time I smell it.
I see it anywhere between 60 and 75.
Okay, so 60. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
we're always going to be on the low end here in North Carolina because we're basically paying the suggested retail price.
And I think we've said this before, but I'll say it again. Our goal is to find stuff that between certain price points at a certain proof. And the lower the price, the higher the proof, the more excited we are about it sometimes.
Yeah, it's bang for buck.
Exactly. And you know, you can get some stuff that
is really complex.
You know, 40, less than $50, like the Knob Creek, that is just all day long.
Yeah, or you know, the rare breed.
Yeah.
You know, we love the rare breed, the rye and the bourbon.
Yeah.
Both great. This is really good though, and it's super complex. Like I mean, all the flavors that we're getting out of this. It's really rare for me to pick up more than say 3 or 4, and I feel like I'm getting quite a bit more.
Yeah, like before when I first smelled it, when we first poured it, and it opened up a little bit because it had been sitting here for a little while. I really got that, you know, the appley, the light fruit, then the caramel and the vanilla. Now I'm getting like a pepper on it.
Yeah, I get a black pepper.
Yeah, black pepper. It almost smells like pepper jam, almost a little bit like a jalapeno pepper jam. Is what I'm getting from it, but it's
yeah. Before you got here, I had the Glenfiddich 14.
Okay.
And this is definitely reminiscent of a Scotch. I'm not a Scotch expert, folks. Maybe eventually I'll get to a point to where I can speak highly of it. But what I'll say is it is the fruit on it. Like it's definitely got that fruit note. The pears. The spice is good too. I mean, like this is like the best of all worlds. It's kind of got those great vanilla. You know, and caramel, caramel, whichever you want to say, that you're going to get from bourbon. It's got the spice, and the black pepper you're going to get from rye, and then it has the light fruit.
Yeah.
That you know that I hear you get from scotches. At least I get from the Scotch.
The
Glenfiddich,
Glenfiddich
for
that
sure.
you tried did, yeah.
And
yeah, it's a little lighter. It's not as hefty and oily as the barrel that we tried the other night, the cast strength. So I do like that. And of course, that probably comes from the mix of the different types of whiskeys, being the blend that it is. But yeah, that was good.
we might have to do a comparison between this and the other barrel at some point.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just to see, this is delicious. We're loving bringing these videos to you. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely.
We're gonna probably shoot a little more footage tonight, just because this is the point where we start feeling good and we start putting out some cool
some
stuff.
of the interesting stuff.
And so drop us a comment, like this video, please subscribe, and if you'll share this with your friends, we would love that. If you're finding us on YouTube, we also have an Instagram page. It's a great place to keep up with when we're dropping new videos and things and such outside of YouTube. Hit the notification bell, and we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your feedback. Take care. Cheers to next time.